Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Life Transformation UK. Or if you're here for the first time, welcome to Life Transformation UK. My name is Ben, and it's my mission with this channel to help you achieve your freedom through confidence. And in today's video, I want to be talking about how to give up the need to control other people, because a lot of the time we can take on this kind of controlling energy and this kind of controlling mindset when it comes to different areas of our life, especially when we are suffering from lack of confidence or low self-esteem or anxiety or something like that. So I want to talk about a little bit about why trying to control everything and specifically the actions of other people is just going to make you miserable in the long term. But I'm also going to give you a little bit of advice on kind of how to let go of all of that and also how to actually get what you want out of life without the need to control everything and other people as well. So if you're excited to learn about how to let go of that need to control everything in life and other people and start to take real action towards creating the life that you want and living with confidence, then make sure that you do watch this video all the way to the end so that you can get the maximum value and benefit from it. If you do find this content useful, then make sure that you do leave a like on the video, because it really helps to boost the video within the YouTube algorithm. It helps to support the channel and to let me know if I'm doing a good job as a content creator as well. So if you wouldn't mind just clicking the thumbs up button just below this video, and let's get into the main subject of this video today. So I am no stranger to wanting to control things. In fact, for most of my life, I have been a very, I don't want to say controlling person, but I was a little bit of a control freak when it came to almost every single area of my life, because I grew up without a whole lot of control. I was moving around a lot as a kid. I didn't really have a whole lot of friends, and given that my family were not very well off and we were an immigrant family in the UK, things were not easy. And I wanted things to be easy. I wanted things to be amazing for my family. And that's a drive that I still have to this day, just a little bit more healthy. And so I really started to become very much a control freak with a lot of things. And eventually that kind of just extended out into the rest of my life. And that is where the problems started to come in. So as you might know from watching other videos from me, one of the key turning points in my life was just before I went to university, and kind of out of the blue, my girlfriend dumped me in I don't want to say quite a traumatic way, because traumatic, that's such a dramatic word. Maybe in a very dramatic fashion. Yeah, that's a much better way for me to put that. But it just kind of came out of the blue and totally blindsided me, and it very much knocked my confidence. And I found myself wanting to kind of take complete control of everything in my life, because I felt like I was totally out of control with everything. And this led to me searching for things such as kind of how to get your ex back, or how to make someone fall in love with you, or how to make someone attracted to you, and Google searches like that, and really trying to figure out if there was a way for me to control the actions of other people. And I'm definitely not proud of the fact that I thought that that was a viable solution, but those kinds of Google searches did eventually lead me down the right path to where I am now. But that's very much the mindset that I was in, and I know that there are a lot of people who are in that mindset as well, where you might feel out of control, and because of that you want to take control of everything else, and you might be trying to figure out, are there a set of psychological steps to getting your ex back, or is there a certain formula for making people like you? And I can definitely relate to that desire, maybe even that desperation to get the world under control. But what I'm saying is that in the long term, that is going to make you miserable. It, in fact, made me very, very miserable for a very, very long time. So now I want to go into exactly why trying to control everything will make you miserable in the long term. And the first thing is that it is ultimately a losing battle, because the more you actually go out and discover how things work in terms of, let's say, human psychology, for example, that's something that I am very, very passionate about. And it kind of all sparked off with this, wanting to know how people worked and is there a way to make people like me or to make people attracted to me or things like that. But here's the thing with psychology and neuroscience and the study of the mind. Once you really start to understand how it all pieces together, you realize that there are millions, literal millions of minute factors that go into everything. Everything from ambient room temperature to past experiences in childhood and what food has been eaten on the day, the complex balance of chemicals in a person's brain. There is so many factors that go into why people make certain decisions that it is virtually impossible to actually 100% control a person to do X, Y, and Z, no matter what it might look like in Derren Brown's shows. It's just very, very well set up. One of the other reasons why it is going to make you miserable in the long term is that all these psychological tricks and tips and hacks that you might be reading about on the internet or watching YouTube videos on, at the end of the day, it's not the trick that works. It is you that works. And that's why I don't really condone the kind of psychology hacks, because in the long term it comes with practice. Even the video that I did kind of on confidence hacks were scientifically based, and they're things that you needed to practice over time. So the tips and the tricks don't necessarily work. As I said, it is you that does the work and you have to practice at it. But also when it does come to you just trying to use like psychological hacks to get people to like you or do whatever, it comes across as really disingenuous, because at that point you're not really doing it to bring value to that other person. You're doing that for you, and on a certain level, whether that is conscious or unconscious, a person can decipher that. And given all of these factors and the fact that the tips and the tricks don't necessarily work, what really makes you, or what will eventually, if it has not already done, what will eventually make you miserable is that you are going to discover just how out of control you actually are. And for me, that was terrifying, because I spent my entire life trying to be in control of certain things. And once I really found out just how random and chaotic everything is and just how much I truly did not know, it really scared me, and it over time just made me absolutely miserable, because I thought, well, there's actually nothing that I can do. And it just left me in a worse state than I was than where I began. So that is why trying to control everything is going to make you miserable in the long run. So next, I'm going to go into how you can start to let go of the need to control things. And then I'm going to go into a little bit on how you can go about creating the life that you want and getting the results that you want from life. The first thing is to start looking at people, as the exact same as you, no matter who they are, where they come from, what background, and all the other factors. People are people. They are not objects that can be controlled like machines. And you have to understand that people are incredibly complex beings, and kind of for that reason you just have to accept them as they are or not accept them at all. And my instinct is to say that it's better to just accept people as they are without needing to change them or control them, because ultimately they are doing what is right for them and we are not in control of that. The second thing is, I want you to take a good look at yourself and ask, why do I need to be in control of things or in control of other people? And I want you to really go deep with that answer. I like to use something called the 5 whys in coaching and in these videos. And that means that you should go 5 whys deep with something. So if you are asking yourself, right, why do I need to be in control? And then you answer that. So it might be because I'm tired of not getting the results that I want out of life. And then you can ask yourself, well, why is that a problem, or why is that? And just keep going layers and layers deep, at least 5 whys deep, until you have found the deeper reason. And you will know when you have hit that deeper reason, because it will just click with you. The third thing is, I want you to start watching the news and watching what's going on in the world and realize just how random and chaotic everything is. A lot of the times there isn't much of a meaning for why things happen or why people do the things that they do, at least on the surface level. So I want you just to start to recognize how random, chaotic everything is. And then I want you to start to understand that the type of person that does kind of control everything in their life and control the people in their life is not the type of person that you would want to become. There is nothing worse than an overly controlling person. And what you'll find is that the people who do try to control other people and everything around them are not great people. These are people who may even be genuine psychopaths, because that is what psychopaths do. They want to control people because ultimately they don't view them as other people, just as objects for gratification over time. And so the final step to learning how to let go, and I'm by no means saying that it is as simple as step 1 to step 5. This is some work that you're going to have to do either with yourself or maybe with a therapist or a counselor or just somebody that you trust. But step number 5 is learning that the only things that you can control with certainty are your actions and the way that you respond to events. Ultimately, those are the only things that are within your control. I would highly encourage you to start reading, maybe not the deep Stoic philosophy, but just some books on the general concept of the philosophy of the Stoics. Highly recommend reading Ryan Holiday's books, such as The Ego is the Enemy and The Obstacle is the Way. Because they will break down this idea of the self and the ego and why you might feel like you want to be in control of X, Y, and Z, and why that might not necessarily be serving you in the best way. So I highly recommend reading those books and looking into the general concept of Stoic philosophy. It's nowhere near as boring as it sounds. In fact, it's changed my life. It might very well change yours as well. So I highly recommend looking into that. And then finally, to actually go out and get what you want out of life, for me, there are 4 steps to this. Step 1 is deciding what you actually want out of life. And I recommend going into the 5 whys for this as well. Really dig deep on why you want what you want out of life. The next thing you'll need to do is you'll need to fully understand exactly where you are right now. So if you want to get to point B, you first have to know where you are. You need to know where your point A is, and that way you can connect those dots. So that's step 2. Step 3 is going to be finding out what kind of a person you are going to need to become in order to get yourself from point A to point B, and deciding if that is genuinely worth it for you. So for me, for example, the point A that I am at right now is that I am working in a regular job, and I want to get to the point where I can leave that job and go full-time into coaching and building up this Life Transformation UK business. So that's my point A, that's my point B, and I know what kind of a person that I need to be to connect those dots, and I know that that's worth it for me. I know that I'm going to have to be a hard worker. I know that I'm going to have to be a hustler no matter how much I hate that word. I know that I'm going to have to sacrifice a lot over the next 6 to 12 months in order to make that a reality for me. And yes, I think that that is worth it. So find out what kind of person you're going to need to go. Find out what kind of person you're going to need to be to get yourself from point A to point B. Decide if that's worth it for you, and then move into step 4. And step 4 is to create an action plan. So these small steps that you are going to take to get yourself from point A to point B, these are also known as goals, whether they're short-term or long-term goals. So what you want to do is you want to set out an action plan of how you're going to get there, and then just start taking daily consistent steps, because those daily consistent steps will build up momentum, and the more momentum you have behind you, the faster you're going to get from point A to point B. This is the snowball effect in action, and it works in every single area of your life, no matter what it is. So those are my 4 simple steps for how you can start creating the life that you want without having to control everything around you. This is just comes from controlling your actions and your reactions to what happens in life. So I hope you have found this video useful. I hope that you are going to take action on the information that has been provided in this video. If you have found this educational or inspirational or just useful in some kind of way, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like on the video, because it really helps to boost the video within the YouTube algorithm. It helps to support the channel and to let me know if I'm doing a good job as a content creator as well. If you're new to Life Transformation UK, make sure that you do subscribe down below. I put out 3 videos every single week on self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-improvement, all geared towards helping you create the life that you dream of. So if you're interested in any content like that, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. If you have any questions, any thoughts, anything like that, make sure that you leave them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to respond to every single comment as soon as I possibly can. But otherwise, thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of this video. Once again, I hope you have found it useful, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos very soon.